I recently had an experience where I was planning to do something special. I was really planning to do something special at the beginning of the school year with my daughter. Yet I didn't have anything nailed down. Now, she got sick at the beginning of the year. She didn't have COVID, but she had 104 fever. And so she was sick for like 4 days. And I was planning to do something fun that weekend. And I kind of just canceled my plans. It was like, we're not going to be able to do anything out of town. I had some things in mind. But anyway, she started to feel better on Saturday. And then I took her to this restaurant Saturday night that I thought would be fun to kind of go and celebrate that she had been feeling better. And while we were sitting there having dinner, she said, Dad, I'd love to go see the mountains. And there's no mountains near Wichita, Kansas. I mean, we're in the heartland here. We got some little hills, but there's no mountains here. But my response to that was, Emerson, let's go to Colorado Springs, which is 500 miles away. And at the moment I said that, she didn't believe me. I mean, she's like, no, but she smiled and she was excited. And sure enough, 2 hours later, we were in the car, packed, at least for the most part, heading to Colorado Springs. It was 8 p.m. at night. So we drove for 4 hours. We stayed in Colby, Kansas, got up that next morning. And this is Saturday night. She has school on Monday. School had already started. This is Saturday night, 500 miles away. This is an 8-hour drive. 7-8 hour drive, at least 7.5 hour drive. I mean, it's a long drive. So 500 miles. So we stay in Colby. We sleep there barely, maybe 6-7 hours. I got my dog because I didn't really have any chance to get somebody to watch the dog. But he likes to go with us anyway. And we got there into Colorado Springs that morning. It was like 9:30 in the morning. Because we had to get back for school by 10 p.m., go another 500 miles back, we stayed in Colorado Springs for no more than 4 hours. We basically went to the Garden of the Gods, went to Manitou Springs, had lunch, went to some places to just kind of shop around. But it was great. I mean, it shocked Emerson completely. She'll never forget it. She got to drive along the way, which is not something I actually had thought about because she does have her driver's permit. You can get that at 14 in Kansas. I know, kind of crazy, but it was a great experience. On the way back, she said, Dad, we need to do this something like this every weekend. It was crazy. It was like this memory that we'll always have together. And it happened only because I felt like this was the right thing intuitively. And we just did it. I didn't have time to worry about it, really. I mean, got a hotel, everything fell into place, and we were safe. And luckily didn't get a speeding ticket, either of us, which would have been bad with a permit. That was something that we will always have. Now, anything on your list, I'd encourage you to say, okay, let's look at what is the best possible outcome in this situation? The moment fear starts to kick in or you start to talk yourself out of it, start thinking about the best possible outcome. So if you spontaneously are going to say, hey, I want to, I want to check out this new place in town. And then you start thinking, well, I can't do it because I have all these commitments after work. And you may. And that may be legit and maybe something you can't actually do, but it also could be a situation where you're just starting to talk yourself out of it. So maybe you want to go check out some kind of group in the evening, a running club, or you want to check out an open AA meeting because you heard Adam talk about those on a Decide Your Legacy podcast, or you want to go and check out a new gym or do a rock climbing wall or something that's going to be fun, and enjoy a new yoga class, whatever it may be, a new restaurant. The first thing is like, what could go well? It's not what can go wrong, because fear kicks in quickly. I mean, in fact, it takes about 3 or 4 seconds for a negative, fearful thought to stick. And it takes about twice that, like 14, 15 seconds for a positive thought to stick. So it's harder work to actually be grateful and to think what could go well, what good could come out from doing this spontaneous thing, but you intentionally do it and you focus on it. And it's like this thing happens where we're going to do that. I mean, it kicks in with the intuition. I'm going to go for this. I'm just going to do it. And you overpower it because you're using that power of just making these good things stick in your mind. I mean, you're outsmarting your brain again. It's like being spontaneous. It's so quick. I'm going to do this thing so fear doesn't have a chance to kick in. If it does kick in, which it even will when you're spontaneous, while you're making that decision, like while I'm driving out of town going to Colorado Springs, it's like, what did I forget? What bad could happen here along the way? All these things trying to talk me out of it because it's trying to keep me safe. My brain's trying to keep me safe. Yet I'm able to say, well, here's the good stuff that can happen. We're going to make a memory. And the thing that kicked in at that moment, I had not even thought about this, but the moment we left town or we're on the way out of town, I started thinking about that memory that I had with my dad. I had forgotten about it, honestly. I hadn't thought about it much lately, at least. And it wasn't even actually on my mind, but somehow it came up for me and I'm like, oh, wait, this is going to be great. I remember that experience with my dad. It's going to be like that experience with my dad. And Emerson and I are going to remember this. And so I overpowered that fear and we kept on driving.